My name is Mary, and this is the story of how my life turned into a living nightmare. When I first met Jacob, I believed he was the man of my dreams. Little did I know that behind his charming smile and dashing looks hid a monster waiting to be unleashed. It was a warm summer evening when fate brought us together at a friend's party. Jacob's charisma was undeniable, and I found myself drawn to him like a moth to a flame. Our conversations were filled with laughter, and our connection felt like destiny. Within months, we exchanged vows and became husband and wife. The early days of our marriage were blissful, as if we were living in a fairy tale. Jacob doted on me, showering me with compliments and affection. But as the honeymoon phase waned, I started noticing subtle changes in his behavior. One evening, as we sat together on the couch, I mustered the courage to broach the subject. "Jacob, I've noticed that you've been acting differently lately. Is everything okay?" He turned towards me, his expression clouded with an unseen darkness. "Mary, you have to understand that I come with baggage. I have a son from my previous marriage, and he's always been a challenge. It's not easy for me to balance my responsibilities as a father and a husband." His words sent a chill down my spine, but I reassured myself that every relationship had its challenges. Little did I know that his words were just the beginning of a much deeper problem. As weeks turned into months, the cracks in our relationship became more apparent. Jacob's son, Ethan, who lived with us, made it clear that he resented my presence in their lives. His disdain was palpable, and it seemed to fuel Jacob's own frustrations. One evening, as I prepared dinner in the kitchen, I overheard a conversation between Jacob and Ethan that sent shivers down my spine. "Ethan, why can't you accept Mary as part of our family? She loves you and only wants the best for us," Jacob pleaded. Ethan scoffed, his voice laced with bitterness. "She's not my real mom, and she never will be. I won't let her replace my mother." The weight of those words crushed me, as if my dreams were being shattered before my eyes. The realization that I was viewed as an intruder, an outsider in my own home, was devastating. From that moment on, our lives descended into chaos. Jacob and Ethan treated me as a servant, constantly belittling me and ordering me around. Their insults cut deep, and I felt like an invisible presence in my own marriage. One evening, as Jacob sat on the couch, barking orders at me, I mustered the strength to speak up. "Jacob, I can't continue living like this. I deserve respect and love, not constant demands and insults." He turned towards me, his face contorted with anger. "You're overreacting, Mary. Just do what you're told and stop complaining. It's your duty as a wife." Tears welled up in my eyes, and I realized that the man I had once thought was my knight in shining armor had become my worst nightmare. This was the beginning of a journey that would test my resilience and force me to confront the harsh reality of my marriage. Little did I know that my fight for freedom and self-worth would become the battle of a lifetime. As the days turned into months, and months into years, I found myself trapped in a twisted reality. Jacob's son from his previous marriage, Ethan, continued to harbor resentment towards me, a constant reminder of the life he had before our paths crossed. But it wasn't just Ethan who treated me with disdain. Jacob himself seemed to relish in his power over me. One evening, as I was setting the table for dinner, Jacob entered the room, his face twisted in frustration. "Mary, I told you to have dinner ready by 7 p.m. Can't you do anything right?" Tears welled up in my eyes, but I held them back, determined not to show weakness. "Jacob, I'm doing my best, but it would help if you could communicate your expectations more clearly," he scoffed, his voice dripping with contempt. "I shouldn't have to spell it out for you. A good wife knows her duties." His words stung, like salt on an open wound. I felt like a puppet in their game, constantly being pulled in different directions, each one more degrading than the last. Ethan, fueled by his father's resentment, took every opportunity to belittle me. He would mock my efforts, scoff at my opinions, and go out of his way to make me feel like an outsider in my own home. One evening, when Jacob was away on a business trip, I found myself alone with Ethan. I mustered the courage to confront him about his constant hostility. "Ethan, I know it's not easy for you to accept me, but we are family now. Can't we try to find some common ground?" I asked. desperately hoping for a glimmer of understanding. He sneered at me, his eyes filled with disdain. "You'll never be my mother, and I don't want anything to do with you. Just stay out of my way." His words cut through me like a knife, leaving me feeling smaller and more insignificant than ever before. It seemed that no matter what I did, I would forever be an outsider in my own home. The days turned into a never-ending cycle of servitude. I was expected to tend to their every need, while my own dreams and desires were brushed aside. My opinions were dismissed, my voice silenced, and I became a shadow of the woman I once was. Each insult, each derogatory comment was like an echo reverberating through the walls of our home. It was a constant reminder that I was nothing more than a servant in their eyes, a disposable presence to be used and discarded at will. But deep within me, a flicker of strength started to burn. It was a small flame of resilience that refused to be extinguished. I knew that I deserved better, that I had the right to be treated with dignity and respect. And so, in the midst of the darkness, I began to formulate a plan, a glimmer of hope that would lead me towards the path of liberation. I knew that breaking free from this cycle of servitude would not be easy, but I was determined to reclaim my life and rewrite my own story. The breaking point of my endurance was fast approaching. The insults and mistreatment had reached a crescendo, and I could no longer bear the weight of their contempt. It was time for me to take a stand, to gather the shattered pieces of myself, worth, and find the strength to break free. One fateful evening, as Jacob's anger consumed him, he raised his hand in a moment of rage. Fear gripped me as I recoiled, shielding myself from the blow that never landed. The room fell into a suffocating silence, broken only by my trembling breath. Tears streamed down my face as I stared into Jacob's eyes, a mix of shock and remorse reflected in his gaze. The truth of his actions hung heavy in the air, like an unspoken agreement that our marriage had crossed a line that could never be undone. You raised your hand at me?" I whispered, my voice shaking with a mixture of vulnerability and determination. Jacob's expression softened, and he took a step towards me, his voice laden with regret. "Mary, I'm so sorry. I don't know what came over me. I promise it won't happen again." But his words, like a broken record, echoed in my mind. How many times had he uttered those apologies before, only for the cycle of abuse to repeat itself? This time, I knew that I couldn't settle for empty promises. The weight of his actions and the countless insults hurled at me finally broke through the walls of denial that I had built around myself. In that moment, clarity washed over me like a cleansing wave, washing away any lingering doubts about the toxicity of our relationship. The following morning, I made a decision that would alter the course of my life. I packed a small bag with the essentials, gathering the fragments of my shattered spirit, and I left our home. I needed distance and time to heal, to rediscover the woman I'd lost in the shadow of their cruelty. A week passed, and I found refuge at a friend's house. It was there, amidst their warmth and support, that I began to rebuild my broken confidence. Surrounded by love, I realized that I deserved better than the life I had endured for so long. One evening, as my friend and I sat on the porch, sipping tea and sharing stories, I mustered the courage to voice my decision. "I've made up my mind, Sarah," I said, my voice tinged with determination. "I'm going to divorce Jacob. I can't continue living in a toxic environment, and I refuse to be treated as a lesser human being." Sarah placed a comforting hand on mine, her voice filled with unwavering support. "Mary, I stand behind you no matter what you decide. You deserve happiness and respect. We'll get through this together." Her words ignited a spark of strength within me, fueling my resolve to seek justice and reclaim my life. The road ahead would be challenging, but I knew deep down that I had made the right choice. It was time to take control of my destiny and emerge from the darkness into a future filled with self-worth and freedom. With a heavy heart and a newfound determination, I left the toxic environment that had consumed my existence and sought refuge at my friend's house. It was there that I found solace, support, and the love I had longed for. My friend, Sarah, welcomed me with open arms, offering a safe space where I could begin to heal from the emotional scars inflicted by Jacob and his son. Her home became my sanctuary, a place where I could rediscover myself and rebuild the shattered pieces of my identity. One evening, as Sarah and I sat in her cozy living room, surrounded by the comforting glow of candlelight, she gently asked, "Mary, how are you feeling? Is there anything you'd like to share?" I took a deep breath, my voice filled with a mix of vulnerability and determination. "Sarah, I've realized that I can't continue living as a victim. I deserve happiness, respect, and a life free from abuse. I've made the decision to divorce Jacob." Sarah's eyes filled with empathy as she reached out to hold my hand. "Mary, I'm proud of you for taking this step. It takes immense courage to break free from a toxic relationship. Remember, you are not alone. I'll support you every step of the way." Her words of encouragement and unwavering support infused me with renewed strength. Together, we began the process of planning my divorce and strategizing for the challenges that lay ahead. As the days turned into weeks, I gradually regained my sense of self-worth. Sarah encouraged me to explore my passions, to rediscover the activities that brought me joy and fulfillment. I enrolled in painting classes, immersing myself in the vibrant colors and therapeutic strokes of the canvas. Through art, I found an outlet for my emotions and a sense of empowerment. One evening, as I unveiled a completed painting to Sarah, she marveled at the vibrant hues and intricate details. "Mary, this is incredible. You've truly tapped into your talent and passion. Don't let anyone dim your light." A sense of accomplishment washed over me as I realized that my worth extended far beyond the confines of my failed marriage. I had talents, dreams, and a strength within me that was waiting to be unleashed. With Sarah's unwavering support, I also began to seek professional help. Therapy became an essential part of my healing process, providing a safe space where I could unravel the complexities of my past and forge a path towards a brighter future. In the therapy sessions, I explored the patterns of abuse and learned to recognize my own inherent value. The therapist helped me understand that the insults and mistreatment I'd endured were not a reflection of my worth, but a projection of their own insecurities and shortcomings. One day, as I sat in a therapy session, tears streaming down my face, I whispered, I allowed myself to believe their words. I let them define me, but I refused to let them have that power any longer. The therapist nodded, offering words of encouragement. "Mary, it's a process. Reclaiming your self-worth takes time and compassion. Remember, you are not defined by the abuse you've endured. You are defined by the abuse you've endured. You are defined by your resilience and the strength to rise above it." In those moments of vulnerability, I realized that my journey towards healing was not linear. There were good days and bad days, but I continued to push forward, determined to break free from the shadows of my past. Chapter 4 marked a turning point in my life. A chapter of rediscovery, self-compassion, and the pursuit of personal growth. It was a reminder that amidst the darkness, there was always a glimmer of hope waiting to be embraced. And with each passing day, that glimmer transformed into a radiant light, guiding me towards a future filled with love, respect, and the freedom to be truly myself. Armed with newfound strength and the support of Sarah and my therapist, I embarked on a journey to seek justice and reclaim what was rightfully mine. Chapter 5 was a chapter of resilience and determination, as I faced the daunting task of navigating the legal system and standing up for my rights. The first step was to find a skilled attorney who would represent me in the divorce proceedings and ensure that I received a fair settlement. With Sarah's help, I researched and interviewed several lawyers until I found one who understood my situation and shared my determination to fight for justice. During our initial consultation, my attorney, Emma, listened attentively as I recounted the years of mistreatment and abuse I had endured. Her expression remained compassionate, yet resolute as she reassured me. "Mary, we will fight tooth and nail to ensure you receive a fair division of assets and that justice is served. You deserve nothing less." Emma's unwavering support and expertise provided me with a sense of reassurance and confidence as we prepared for the legal battle that lay ahead. Months passed as the divorce proceedings unfolded and emotions ran high. Jacob, realizing that I was no longer willing to be a passive victim, fought tooth and nail to retain his fortune. His arrogance and entitlement were palpable as he tried to undermine my claims and manipulate the situation to his advantage. One day, during a heated courtroom exchange, Jacob's lawyer attempted to discredit my character. "Your Honor, my client's claims of mistreatment and abuse are baseless. Mary is simply trying to extort money from my client through false accusations." I stood tall, my voice firm and unwavering. "Your Honor, the evidence and testimony speak for themselves. I endured years of emotional abuse, insults, and even physical threats. I seek not revenge, but justice. I deserve my fair share and the freedom to move forward with my life." The judge, a stern yet impartial figure, listened attentively to both sides of the argument. After careful consideration, the judge ruled in my favor, acknowledging the years of mistreatment and the toll it had taken on my well-being. As the final judgment was handed down, ensuring that I received a fair settlement and my rightful share of the assets, a sense of triumph washed over me. The battle had been arduous, but I had emerged victorious, a testament to my resilience and unwavering determination. Outside the courtroom, Emma approached me, a proud smile on her face. "Mary, you fought with unwavering strength and grace. I am honored to have been part of your journey. Remember, this victory is not just about the financial settlement. It's about reclaiming your power and rewriting your story." Her words resonated deeply within me, reminding me that this chapter was not just about the material gain, but also about reclaiming my dignity and finding my voice once again. As I walked away from the courthouse, a weight lifted from my shoulders. I knew that the road to healing was far from over, but this victory provided a foundation upon which I could rebuild my life. Chapter 5 marked the culmination of a hard-fought battle, a testament to my resilience and the unwavering support of those who stood by me. It was a reminder that justice could prevail, even in the face of adversity, and that no one should endure mistreatment or be denied their rightful share. With the legal battle behind me, I set my sights on the future. A future filled with self-discovery, healing, and the promise of a life where I would never again be silenced or made to feel like a lesser human being.